guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time, but I'm really excited to bring you something new. I found this simple and kind of plain baby changing dresser on Facebook Marketplace, and I swiped it up to give it a makeover. To start with this furniture flip, I started with prepping and cleaning. I am using a degreaser spray all over and just really giving it a good wipe down and scrub down. The next step would be to make any repairs so that when you're sanding or painting, everything's all good to go. I did have to wait for my drawer slides to come in the mail, so I take them out, but then I have to go back later, and I'll show you that when that comes up. The next part is a scuff sand or to strip your piece. I am stripping this entire piece down to the bare wood. I only have an orbital sander, so you can see here there are some dark spots that my sander would not get to. I did the best I could by hand, but I still had some dark spots. I have an idea later that I'll show you that kind of get rid of those dark spots. You want to be sure to wipe down your piece after sanding to get rid of all the sanding dust. Here I decided to do a little test patch so I could decide on what kind of stain I wanted to use. I'm putting down some stain wood conditioner before I do my test. My first stain was Early American by Minwax. It was a little dark for what I wanted, so I go back in with a whitewash stain and then put the Early American over it, and it comes out much lighter and exactly what I wanted. This is when I went back in and replaced the drawer slides that needed to be replaced. Some of them were just a little bit beat up and rough to open and close. Once I had everything truly fixed and decided on a stain, I'm going to go over the entire piece with my wood conditioner. This just ensures that your stain adheres to the wood evenly and without splotchiness. Again, I added whitewash stain first and then went over it with the Early American by Minwax, which is very different from the Early American by Varathane. Now this is where I had to go in and cover those dark spots. I am just using some white chalk paint, and I'm kind of wiping away a little bit as I go so that it doesn't dry really thick and opaque like this. And I guess I forgot to film the part after I did the white chalk paint and let it dry. I went over with the Early American stain again, just like barely any stain on a little artist brush, just to kind of darken up that white so that it wasn't so like in your face, and blended in and just looked more of like a distressed beechwood look. I let the paint and the stain and everything cure for at least 24 hours. It might have even been 2 days, I can't remember. But then I went in with my white chalk paint and a stencil that I got from Michael's and did just the top portion of each drawer. I am going to admit that this lighter color really scared me at first and I thought it was way too light, but once I got that white stencil on there, I fell in love. I let it cure again, and then I went in with a Surf Prep sanding pad in the very fine one, went over the entire thing just to give it a nice smooth finish, and then went back through and wiped all the sanding dust off before I did my wax. So this is the first time I've ever used a soft wax to finish a piece of furniture, and I have to say I am in love with the finished product. You go in with your wax and you go in small circles and kind of just work it into all the wood to where you don't feel dry spots. You let it dry for 5 to 10 minutes and then you come back and buff it. By the time I got done with the entire piece, I was able to go right back and start at the beginning and buff it out. And this is the finished product. I am so happy with the way that it turned out. I found the hardware on Amazon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to see future videos on furniture flips and other DIYs. You can also follow me on Instagram at Cactus Grove Home, and I'll see you next time.